Hey, what's up, folks? Welcome back to On Texas Football, and welcome back to the Winning Drive, the prime time edition. I'm lifetime Longhorn Rod Babers. Pleased to be joined by fellow lifetime Longhorn, also a national champion, my man Marcus Myers, joining us, and also joining us, our own coach, former high school football coach at Vernon, Capel, Brownwood, Belton, Rotan, also played college football at Abilene Christian. Coach there as well, was on the staff at the University of Texas for multiple head football coaches. And these days, you can catch his work at ShipleyRanches.com. So on Coach Bob Shipley. What's going on, Coach? How you doing?
I'm blessed. I am blessed.
Yeah, I'm right about that.
Thawing out. Everything's thawing out in Abilene, thankfully. And got my boy Jordan home. He's doing great.
Man.
God is good to the Shipleys.
Amen to that, brother. That's a great message to start with. Appreciate you sharing that with Coach. Good to see you, Marcus. Good to see you,
sir.
How's everything been with you?
Everything's good, man. I know we've all been shuffling some schedules around a little bit and trying to make everything work, but you know, that's the power of a team. And I was getting a chance to talk to Coach right before we got on. I'm really glad to hear everybody's doing well and that Jordan's back. So, you know, amen to that, Coach. I'm glad to see you and hang in there. Also, Rocky P, if he's in there, I got my hat. I got my hat.
You got it.
So it's a 32.
Wow.
And then it's like he has a version of me at night, I guess, when it turns dark, I turn into a different person, right? So
Rocky P is amazing.
Half there. He's good, man. So it's solid. Thank you, brother. I got it today.
Wow.
I think it got delayed today because of the weather, but I got it and threw it right on. So it's a good man right there.
That's I mean, it's well done too. I said, order Rocky. I know Rocky P. I guess Rocky P he's not sharing.
No, I don't even think he does that for a living. He
said stay tuned. Yeah, he's working on some stuff, but I think you're right, Coach. Like it's not a full-time deal, but people have been asking him about it, and he said stay tuned. So maybe there's something in the works. Who knows?
I hope so, because he's incredibly talented and very witty too.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yeah. Very much so.
I'm like I said, I'm on board. I mean, you sold me, Coach. I want the one that you got, the tribute one, the Jordan tribute one. So the Jordan Strong, yeah, whatever.
There you go.
I want that one because that one is, and I'll buy some more stuff, but that one I gotta have it. I might not even wear that one. That one it's just too sharp, man. It means too much. All right, thank you guys for joining us. You guys know how it works. Throw out your questions, comments. We'll try to address as many of them as we can. Super chats always jump to the front of the line. You can interrupt the show at any time. We do have some updates about some stories on the 40 acres that we'll get to. I got a couple of topics to throw at the panel here as well. But we guys throw out your questions, comments. You guys know you're the most important part of the show. Show of the people, for the people, and by the people. All right, let's. There it is.
That's fire.
Look at it. Ooh,
I love that.
I'm telling you. Man, I gotta have
that's a picture my daughter took of Jordan right when he was like second day he was awake.
Hey, Rocky says,
Rocky knocked out the park on that one.
Mine got delivered, like it's already here. Oh,
it's somewhere.
Better go check the front porch.
I gotta check the mailbox, Rocky. All right,
that's what I had to do. It was in the extra bin, the big one at the bottom. Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. I gotta go check the community mailbox. I'm gonna get there before somebody like break into our mailboxes or something. So we'll get there and get that, Rocky. Thank you. No, I appreciate it. Big fans of your work though, because it looks like I said it's high quality, and actually I think it looks real good too. I'm all about the aesthetics, so I'll be wearing it as soon as I get it. So thanks, Rocky P. I appreciate the love. All right, let's start, gentlemen, with the big topic. Actually, before we do that, let's thank our league sponsor, and then we'll dive into the league topics and some other questions and chats. Let's thank our friends over at Vaughn Lane. We appreciate Vaughn Lane, and you will as well. They're fantastic folks. I know a lot of you out there are getting back to the grind. You're done with the holidays, so you got to get back to the meetings and the conferences, and some of you actually do a lot of traveling regionally, traveling in between the major Texas cities. Well, if that's the case for you, I know a lot of you are still using those short flights in between major Texas cities, or you're driving yourself, which can also lead to a lot of stress. You got road rage, and you're dealing with obviously traffic, and then you get there and you're feeling jet lagged and tired from the drive. You don't want to do that, and airports can be a bit of a hassle as well. Not only can be really costly, it can also be really stressful, right? Got TSA and flight delays. Our friends at Vaughn Lane, they provide a first-class service first. They deliver first-class travel experience on the ground. You arrive and aboard in minutes at a private hotel terminal. terminal. You settle into one of just 22 oversized leather seats. You'll enjoy complimentary Wi-Fi, snacks, beverages, and hot towel service on every trip. And on select departures, Von Lane will even offer you a complimentary meal, making sure that your travel experience is productive and relaxing. Right now, they're upgrading their entire fleet with Starlink internet, which is going to make the Wi-Fi even more reliable and even faster, so you can get a lot of work done on those Von Lanes. I've actually taken the Von Lane several times. I do a lot of my rabbit holing and research when I take those Von Lane trips. I've taken it for business. I've visited family on the Von Lane. Trust me, folks, it is worth your time. I guarantee you that, and you won't forget it. Von Lane serves Austin, Dallas, Houston, San Antonio, Fort Worth, Plano, the Woodlands, Nashville, Memphis, Atlanta, and Knoxville. And if you're traveling with a team, you can charter your own Von Lane coach, designing the trip from pickup to drop off. Visit vonlane.com, VONLANE.com. And if you're a first-time rider, you can use the code OTF26 at checkout to receive $20 off your first trip with Von Lane. That's Von Lane, your private jet on wheels. All right. Let's get to the first story here. Owen Texas put this out here earlier, guys. Longhorns were hosting Wake Forest wide receiver Sterling Burkhalter, for a visit. Last season at Wake Forest, he had 30 receptions, I think on 50 targets, 426 yards, 2 touchdowns. So Longhorns might not be done adding to the depth of some of these rooms. What are your thoughts? If you could add a little bit depth to any room right now, where would it be, Coach? Because obviously wide receiver might be one of the places they add a little depth to.
No doubt.
Adding a big time difference maker or contributor, but just adding another piece there to make sure that you got enough bodies to execute. What is there any other position, obviously wide receiver, you're looking at that you think, Coach, they should add some more depth with?
Yeah, well, I think we've addressed a lot of concerns at the offensive line, but you still can't have too many offensive linemen. You can't have too many receivers, and you can't have too many running backs. And of course, I'm speaking offensively, but I say bring them on because a lot of these guys, not a lot of them, but some of these guys may just need to be in the right opportunity, with the right, in the right system, with the right quarterback, with the right OC. You know what I'm saying? And this guy may flourish. He may be a good role player. I don't know what his future is going to be, but I like it.
6'3", 203. He's old too. I mean, I want to say he came in 2021 at North Carolina A&T. Went to Cincinnati for a couple of years, and then was at Wake last year. He didn't, in one of those years at Cincinnati, he didn't play. So I don't know if it was a medical red shirt. I'm not sure exactly what went down there. But he's a veteran guy. So you're adding a veteran presence, Marcus, not only depth, but veteran depth to that room. A guy who's played a lot of and seen a lot of college football.
Yeah, I think it's a common trend that we've kind of seen. If my number is right, 14 of the guys that they've brought in have played at least 2 full seasons, if not more. And so, when you look at what left some of the different rooms, ultimately you had a DeAndre Moore and a Parker Livingston, no longer in that room. So you're getting, experienced guys, and you don't necessarily need them to be full-time contributors, so to speak, for, someone like Burkhalter here. But I think it is good to have some insurance if, something were to happen and/or any of the younger guys weren't able to catch up to speed, quick enough. So I think it's one of those deals where, as much as we've, had conversations about who left at different points in time, what they have replaced it with is a number of guys that have experience, right, and have seen, live action and would have the ability to step in a pinch if need be. And so I think they're just doing everything they can to try to solidify as many rooms as possible. I think, you're still leaning on a pretty nice, solid foundation of your top 3 wide receivers there, and Cam Coleman, Ryan Wingo, and Emmett Mosley, right? But even the mere fact that you're talking about like Emmett Mosley is like your wide receiver 3, right? It just gives you so many options of what you can backfill that with, and gives you options for, again, guys that are going to be in a long season. And I can't say it enough times, but it's a 9-game SEC season. And so I think you're trying to make sure that you have enough guys that can, contribute. Someone like him, bigger body, you would think would be able to get in there and block pretty well. And then you can, leverage, some of the younger guys' strengths and highlight them in, maybe some high leverage situations. So I think it's smart of them. And, coming into it, I think we said early on that, it wouldn't be out of the possibility of them taking 2 wide receivers. So it looks like, that's something they're still pursuing.
Yeah. Over 1,380 snaps that he's played. So like I said, the guys play a lot of football. And Longhorns are looking to add some depth, and he's veteran depth. And I think the offensive line, the guys they've added have been veteran pieces. Does seem like that is a bit of a theme that the Longhorns want to be a more mature, more experienced roster with some of the acquisitions they're bringing in. All right, a couple other stories that I want to get to, but first, I want to ask you guys a couple of questions. I got some would you rathers for you guys. Easy, simple. We're not gonna get crazy with it. Easy, simple. Would you rather? All right, and I want to get both you guys' opinions on it. Texas football related, of course. We ain't trying to go off the rails here. Even though I'm sure the chat is gonna have their own opinions about, hey, would you rather? We used to play this in the locker room with the guys, and usually it was not about football. It usually was about y'all get the picture. Anyway, and so would you rather? Here it is, the first one. Anyway, would you rather Colin Simmons set the all-time single season sack record, or Cam Coleman set the all-time single season receiving touchdown record in 2026? Which one would you? I think I know what coach is going to go here.
You got it, baby. Touchdown.
I think I know what coach might end up here.
There's no doubt.
So I'll start with you, coach. Which would you rather?
Well, I'm kind of greedy. I would like to have both. But Colin Simmons, he's going to get his share of sacks and of recognition and so forth. But to have a playmaker like Coleman coming in with a veteran quarterback, now we can call him a veteran quarterback who's seen tough battles, who's overcome with a grit and determination. I think that would be a great way for Cam to end his career. And would obviously be very positive for the football team and our results at the end of the season. Looking back, having a playmaker like that could be incredible for our team.
All right, Marcus, what are your thoughts?
I'm right there with him. I would take the touchdowns with the caveat that Colin can still go get 20 sacks. Right, like he don't have to break it, but he can go get his 20 and Coleman break the touchdown receiving record. I think you'd be cooking with gas if we could make that happen.
Okay, all right, that's good. Everybody went for the touchdowns in the offense. I feel that, but that number for Kiki Diayala, 22.5, guys.
That's why I said 20. Yeah, give him 20.
22. I just want to see somebody hit that. I know he was thinking. Honestly, I do believe Colin Simmons could threaten it with the right kind of support and everything around him. He won't do it this year because he needs another pass, basically an elite pass, not an elite pass rusher, but he needs another perennial pass rusher opposite him. And I don't know if they have that actually.
Yeah, but think about this, Rod. Look at the potential for the number of games we'll play this season.
That's true too, though, Coach. Good point.
Potentially, he'll have
a
lot of opportunity to threaten that record. Because when Kiki did it, it was like, 13 games?
That's it.
All you play.
Yeah. That's crazy. That's unbelievable. That record, it's
in fact,
wild.
I don't even know if he played 13 games.
Yeah, it probably was only 12. I bet it was only 12.
Yeah, we got to go check that out. I thought Coach would be like, nah, we want Jordan's record to stand, so we're going to pick Colin Simmons.
No. I want to win, baby. Just win, baby.
Just win, baby. I like that. That's what the Shipley's all about. But by the way, George Shipley does have that all-time single season touchdown record at 13. By the way. Okay, next would you rather? This is a simple one too. Would you rather 1,000-yard receiver or 1,000-yard running back?
Give me the running
Marcus,
back.
I'm gonna give you the lead on this one.
Yeah, give me the running back. If we got 1,000-yard rusher, some stuff is clicking. Now that being said, I'm curious how you would get there. With the way I think they're gonna deploy the two backs. But if he's right at 1,000, the other one got 1,000 plus all purpose, I'd be fine with that. But yeah, give me the running back because that makes me feel like the offensive line is coalesced enough to be that productive And we can still have Cam Coleman with touchdowns. You know, he got 1,000-yard rushers.
Yeah, I want y'all kicking.
Well, that's probably why you would have Cam Coleman breaking that record. He ain't going to break that record if you don't have a rushing. If you don't have the rushing threat, he's not going to break that record. You have to have the rushing threat. Give me the 1,000-yard rusher every day.
Yeah. I mean, that's when, last 1,000-yard receiver for Sark was with Xavier Worthy in 2023 or two? I'm trying to think about which year that was. Maybe it's 2023. And the last 1,000-yard back obviously was Trey Washington in 2024. They believe things fell off. Things went off the rails offensively. This is the first time Sark didn't have a 1,000-yard back, right, as a play calling head coach. So I agree with you guys. That was pretty easy one. All right, how about this one? Good news is you're gonna go 11-1 in 2026. It's good news. But your one loss, would you rather it be to LSU or Tennessee? At LSU or at Tennessee, Coach? Your one loss if you win 11-1 next year.
I don't talk about losses.
That's a good one. That's a good one. That's good. I like
back me in the corner, put a gun to my head. I'm going to say Tennessee. I'm going to say Tennessee.
Yeah, that's where I was going to go. I can stomach them, trying to claim the real UT, but that's also an early game, Rod. So I'll take the earlier loss than the later one. I have no desire to see what Lane Kiffin would look like on social media after a win in Baton Rouge against Texas. So probably a little easier also to keep Easton Royal if you can pull that one out. So and just honestly, any of the LSU players. I mean, I think that's one of the things with, as however you think about Lane and however he can be, man, if they get that thing humming, that's a problem on the recruiting and, portal trail. So I'd much rather lose earlier to Tennessee and make sure you pull it off in Baton Rouge later in the year. But don't lose either.
But what kind of game do you predict Arch is going to have?
Everybody said this. That's why the LSU.
Oh yeah,
it's got layers.
He's going to be balling. I'm just telling you.
Yeah.
Games like that.
Yeah.
And that with his family name and legacy there, he's going to have a game.
Yeah. I agree. You say Tennessee just because it's for Arch, because you don't want Arch to have to hear that. All right. We want Arch to be able to go home and put his chest out.
I think Tennessee is in September. So you play Tennessee, then you get a bye.
Yeah.
Then it's the rest of the season, right? And so LSU doesn't come until the third to last game of the year.
Mm-hmm. And Sark and Lane are close too. So you don't want Sark to have to deal with. Lane gonna hit him up. Lane gonna
He gonna fire from all cylinders.
Exactly. He gonna put something out on social media. He gonna hit him up privately. So you don't want Sark to have to deal with that anguish. You don't want Arch to have to deal with the anguish. And you brought up the great point too. It's too close to home. So we don't hear it from LSU fans. We'll never hear about losing to Tennessee, except on social media. You can turn that off. LSU fans, they right around the corner. I know a lot. I know LSU fans. I got some of my family. That's too close to home. And the recruiting advantage, you're right. Sark's trying to dip into Louisiana more. You want to keep that advantage. So, the easy answer there is you rather lose to Tennessee. You don't want to lose to either one of them, but the U lowercase t. All right, here's another one. Because Bobby, we were doing a video, and Bobby said he went through a checklist of things that Texas was looking to, or at least positions that Texas was looking to acquire and fill during the transfer portal season, right? Needs at certain positions. And he said they only missed out on two things. He said they wanted another edge rusher, which they went big game hunting on edge rushers and just missed out. They didn't get the guys they wanted. And he said we wanted a power back, like the Jaden Balls, where they didn't get the power back. They got two good running backs, Malik Brown and Hollywood Smothers, but they didn't get the power back they wanted. So I present a hypothetical. If you could, would you rather add a Sergio Kendall from a past Longhorn team to give you your edge, obviously Colin Simmons, or would you rather a power back like Deontay Foreman in the backfield?
Ooh.
Would you rather?
Ooh.
Marcus, you first. That's the two things you need.
Yeah, that's a good one. Give me Deontay. Yeah, give me Deontay.
Okay. Y'all going offense. You're a defensive guy too.
Yeah, I know, man, but I just feel like the defense has enough to where, especially with Muschamp, I think I have a level of faith of, you know, them still be able to compile it one way or another, right? I just think I would feel so much better about the offense with a Deontay type of back, where if it got into it, you know, if you're playing late in the season and it's cold, or you know, you just, you know, you need to grind out some tough yards, like I kind of have, I would feel a little better about that, you know, if you had somebody like that in your arsenal.
All right, Coach, what do you know?
I'm a Beverly Hills Cop guy. Yo, Serge. Give me Sergio, baby. You remember that?
That's
Yo,
awesome.
Serge. Give me a Sergio Kindle, man.
Oh, that's
every
great.
day of the week.
Yeah, him and Colin.
You remember Dante came out of nowhere.
He did.
Yeah,
he was the calf in that cow-calf deal. You know, they got the two brothers.
Yeah.
Receiver was the cow. He was the calf. He came out of nowhere. Yeah. I'm hoping we have somebody come out of nowhere to take that power back spot. But
yeah,
it's hard to come out of nowhere with a Sergio Kindle.
Oh, and Muschamp knew him and Muschamp. They worked well together too. I'm gonna go. I mean, it's tough. I'm gonna say right now I'd go with Sergio Kindle. Just because the pass rush possibilities with he and Colin Simmons are just, I mean, that's probably the best pass rush in the country right there. And you do have two running backs, but man, that Deontay Foreman in that backfield, I mean, that'd be no stopping in Texas, honestly, because he can run with not a subpar O-line, but an average O-line. He doesn't need a great O-line. Like Deontay Foreman did not need an elite O-line to run behind. He didn't need really anything. He didn't have much around him. It was just, RIP to Papa Foreman too. Thank you for that, CB.
Yeah,
Papa Foreman, I was a big fan. He used to come on. He used to talk to us about Longhorn Blitz back in the day. Was a fan of the show, and we're a fan of his too. But yeah, I think right now I'd lean Sergio Kindle over, but it's close though. That was close. All right, last one. This is the last one, and we'll get into some of the some questions here. Last one. Okay, I would say Sark has done really good at producing freshman All-Americans. I mean, you know, I think last year was one of the first year they didn't have one, right? Freshman All-American. I think every other year of that, Texas had like a freshman All-American or such, because they get guys to contribute early. Okay, so would you rather your freshman All-American for 2026 be Tyler Atkinson or Jermaine Bishop? Coach, you first.
Jermaine Bishop.
Damn, that was quick. Coach didn't take time. He do it. Okay.
Hey, he's in a league that is rare air, in my opinion. You know, and we need that. We need that. Although, you know, I'm a big fan of Tyler. Big fan. Yeah.
No, I mean, he works with Derek Johnson like on the regular. I know that. So I know he's getting trained right. I know he's getting coached up. Marcus, what are your thoughts about it? Who would be your freshman All-American?
I did it again, man. I'm going all offense here. Like I'm there with Jermaine Bishop too. I think he has a different kind of wiggle than anybody else that's in that room. You know, like and so if he were to attain that means he did some, you know, pretty special stuff with some already high-end talent in there, and you found a way to utilize him at a high end. So I don't know, man. I think, you know, you do that, and somehow he's been an integral part of your offense when he doesn't absolutely need to be, right? Like I think he would be a bonus by all means. And so if he were to be able to achieve freshman All-American, then he did something pretty special.
I like the game show. We'll play more game shows, stuff like that.
I think I saw one more in there. I thought I saw Rocky had put one.
Oh yeah, Rocky has one. Oh yeah, I see the Rocky one.
That one's tough. So when we get to that one,
we'll definitely get to that one. That one's good. About this one, I will say I am leaning like it. I think the pragmatic answer is Tyler Atkinson, because you are kind of loaded at wide receiver. But kind of the Kim Kardashian, Nicki Minaj, Serena Williams size, Cardi B size, Megan Thee Stallion size, J-Lo size, but is that, man, if Jermaine Bishop is a freshman All-American on this offense, with those wide receivers, Arch had a hell of a year. He must have had he must have blew it out of the water. You know what I'm saying? Like, 4,000 yards passes, something crazy like that. If that guy's because I know Cam Coleman and Ryan Wingo gonna get theirs. Sark gonna make sure of that. He's gonna make sure those guys get theirs. And I think Emmett Mosey's gonna get his too. I think I like how savvy he is, and I think Arch realizes that too. And if that guy just kind of, like you said, forces his way on the field and forces the coaches to have to give him the football because he's that damn good, as coach is talking about. How many GoDaddies, as coach, the term coaches like to use, do you have in that offense then? So I feel you. That it feels like that would be kind of overdoing it offensively, but I agree. That would probably be the most explosive offense Sark has ever had if that guy's playing at a freshman All-American level.
I think the other thing I think about when I ended up like going all offense here, Rod, is like for as good as this defense has been in a lot of instances these last couple of years, they kind of done it with one hand behind their back in that like they haven't had an offense that can sustain drives. They haven't had offenses that have really been putting up a ton of points in bunches. So I just wonder what would it do if you're putting teams more behind the 8 ball, right? If teams are down a couple of scores more times, like that helps your pass rush. That makes the other offense more predictable. And now you get Muschamp to be able to dial up, his defense against that versus being the one that's a lot of times kind of having to hold anchor and at some point, kind of breaking because in some of those bigger games, you're just not getting the help you need from the offensive side of the ball.
Yeah, that complementary football Sark is always talking about. Yeah. All right, you said it. Rocky P's got a good one here. All right, Rocky. He says, would you rather have Casey Hampton or Casey Studdard for your 2026 team? Ooh, this is easy for me. I'm sorry. And I love me some Casey Studdard. But Big Hamp on a D-line. Guys, y'all have no idea how dominant Big Hamp was. I know y'all think y'all do, but y'all have no idea. We had to stop practices at times. It just take him out of the practices so they could actually execute the offense. if he felt like wrecking practice, he would just wreck practice. He led Texas in tackles, I believe.
I was going to say he led them in tackles like 2 years, right?
I wonder if he did it twice. He led Texas in tackles twice from the D tackle position, guys.
Yeah.
And it wasn't – we were good defenses. Those were good defenses we were on. We weren't on some terrible defenses, and that dude was just that dominant. He's on the all-time Steelers team, ain't he? I believe he's on the all-time Steelers team, dude.
I think he is. I think you're right about that.
I think it's on like their all-century, whatever it is. Like he's on that team, I believe. I got to go check it out to make sure. But I'll say Casey Hampton. Coach, what about you? What say you?
Well, it's hard. It's hard to go against what Casey Hampton brings to the table. Excuse me. But for what our offense needs, we need a Casey Studdard type player. We need a guy who will make you like we've talked about so many times. His attitude was, I'm going to make you give up, and we haven't seen that in a long time, but man, I don't know. I hate to be cheesy on this, but Casey Hampton. I'd have to go with Casey, but Hampton, but Studdard, forgive me, Casey. Studdard.
I ain't trying to get on your bad.
He's my boy,
right?
But I just love that intensity of an offensive lineman. It elevates the play of everyone around him, and I'm sure Hampton did too.
Yeah, he did. Yeah. No,
I'll just say this: my choice is Casey.
Nice. Well done, Coach. Well done. I like that. I'm gonna go Big Ham. What'd you say, Marcus? What would you end up saying?
I was gonna try and pull a coach and just say Casey and think we could go on to the next one. Look, I will. I know they'll tell me Marcus after darkest, but we're not far enough into the night for me to tell my Casey Hampton story. When he came back, him and Big Sean came back one off season. Man.
I can believe it.
I'll tell y'all that later, and maybe if we do a late night edition someday, I'll share that. So for that story alone, I'm a pick Big Ham. But I am with Coach. Like I didn't get to see him play at Texas, And so obviously, like having played alongside Casey and against him when I was on the defensive side of the ball, with him when I played some fullback, I agree with Coach in that I don't know if there's a guy on the O-line that has his disposition. Maybe someone does, and they emerge in that way. But, I just know what Casey had in him and how he approached the game. And he had fun doing it too. I think that's the thing that like people didn't really realize as much. Like Casey had a lot of fun and made sure that we did too. He just whooped a lot of ass while he was doing it. Now, when you go back to Big Hamp though, and you're talking about imagine what that does for Colin. Like, again, exactly. If you got a guy, he's a guy you got to devote 3 people to. Like you can double team him if you want, and he's making the plays, right? So Big Hamp was something different, just seeing him on film, hearing guys talk about him, and then my first time meeting him in person was an experience. So,
yeah, I can't wait to hear that one though. Yeah. Make sure you get the PG-13 version.
I will tell you about that one at another time.
I ran into Big Hamp not too long ago, maybe the last season, not last season, but the season before, 2024 season, and I didn't even recognize him. He had lost so much weight. I walked right past him.
He slimmed up a lot. Yep.
I walked right past him, and I was like, "Hold up!" I was like, "What's that big?" He was like, "Robbie," and I was like, "That was Big Hamp." He just looked like, he just looked like a big regular dude, not a big.
Right.
He's like a big regular dude. And I walked right past him. He's doing great though. He's killing it. I got the story now. My story about when the last time I saw him before that is one of the stories like you talked about, Marcus. I had no business being in this place, and one of the people I saw having no business being in this place was Big Hamp by himself. Like I was by myself. And I was like, "What you doing?" Yeah. He was like, "What's up?" So we spent a few hours there hanging out. Well, probably,
sir.
You know what? Now I'll take it to the grave. I ain't gonna.
That's all I'll say. That's enough.
All I'll say. Y'all do it. Y'all figure it out on your own. Context clues.
Yeah.
All right.
There you go.
All right. Before we get back to the super chats and the questions and the topics, let me. In fact, we got to cut super chats. Let's check Jeff real quick. Jeff C's right here. Jeff C, what's up? He says, "Coach, we all missed you." Very kind. Thank you, Jeff, for the super chat. Rob, Coach, and Marcus are awesome. Thank you, Jeff. We appreciate that, man. Very kind of you. We appreciate those kind words. And thank you guys for the super chats and the questions. We'll get to the questions here in a second. There's one more of the story that I want to make sure we address. Y'all go to the club or something? Yeah, it was a club.
No, he's right. You missed the word. It was a book club. Yes. It was a book club. It was a book club.
I was saying club or something. A book club.
We were comparing notes.
There you go. Yeah. Well, yeah. Yes, there you go. All right. But there's a story about Texas recently picking up a personnel, at least a member of the personnel department, I should say. Kevin, I hope I pronounced his name correctly, and I apologize if I don't. You guys know, correct me, please. Kevin Mashak. He was recently with Tennessee State as the director of recruiting. And Texas is expected to hire him as the new director of scouting. This is according to CBS Sports, some other outlets. Mashak will fill, maybe it's Mashak. I apologize, like I said, if I mispronounced it. He's going to fill the void left by Aaron Joe, who left, who served in that role that he is going to now occupy. He left after just one season, and he joined North Texas to serve as their general manager. Thank you, Matthew. Appreciate that. So adding the personnel, man, to the which I'm all about that. Because add more and more talent evaluators, because talent evaluation now, it's more important than ever for whether you're talking about via the transfer portal or you're talking about traditional recruiting, which has now changed drastically. You're going to have to find value somewhere. So you got to make sure that your hit rate is even a little bit higher than it was, considering now you got the automatic churn rate. You'll probably be at 30, 35% of your roster churned out automatically every year.
Yeah.
So you got to hit. So I like bringing in more personnel guys. He also spent some time in the league, I think, like 3 years with the Jags.
With the Jags.
Yeah. He spent some time with the Jaguars too. So there you go. Small community though. I wouldn't doubt if once we do some more research, find out he's connected in some way back in the day with one of these guys. But they're bringing on a new director of scouting, Kevin Mashak. Hope I pronounced it correctly. All right. There you go. Any comments, guys, about them bringing on? They also brought in, let me make sure I get this right, too. They hired Georgia's Garrett Cox as a senior defensive analyst.
Okay.
That was also broken by CBS Sports. Matt
And
Zinn.
I thought I saw somewhere an assistant strength coach as well.
Yes, I did see that was earlier in the week. We did right about that.
I forgot his name, but and where he came from, but someone that was well regarded. And so I think with all these moves, right? Like, I mean, these days you got armies of guys out there, you know, and why shouldn't you, especially all the money that, you know, you're spending on the program, you want to kind of leave no stone unturned. And certainly, again, you have a guy like Aaron Joe that's kind of thought of as an up and comer, right? And sometimes that's what happens too. You got an analyst that was a former head coach that was working on the staff for a year. And, you know, when he went and took a head job, he identified a guy and said, hey, look, I'll give you a GM role, right? So you can't knock the guy for taking that. But I mean, at the same time, he also wasn't on campus for even a full calendar year. Like, I think he was here for like 8 months when it was all said and done. So, I think it's great that they're, you know, leaving no stone unturned and trying to, you know, make sure that they're replacing anywhere that they think there may be some gaps and bringing in guys that can continue. Because you know this, Rod, and you do too, coach, even with the strength coaches, right? Like, as much as we love Mad Dog, we spent a ton of time with Shep and with Cross and with Donnie Mabe. Like, those guys were, I would say, just, you know, as responsible for a lot of our success, because in certain instances where Dog couldn't be there, it was them. You know, they were the ones that were supervising us in the weight room every single day, and sometimes in the summer before some of those rules change. So those assistant personnel guys are often ones that, you know, get pretty close to players and have ability to, you know, push and pull some different levers, you know, to make sure that everybody's dialed in exact way that you need them to be. So the more guys that you can have, you know, that are kind of bought into the overall vision of Sark's program, I think the better.
Good stuff there. That's a great point, Marcus, about the assistant strength and conditioning coaches. They're just like the assistant position coaches. I mean, like you said, they're a little bit more dialed in because they're on the floor. You know, Mad Dog comes out for the big workouts and then you get them, but those guys they're in the thick of it day by day. Matt King, I believe, is the strength.
Yes, that's him. That's the name.
Okay, and he was previously a strength and conditioning coach at Michigan State for 2 seasons. Prior to that, I think he was at UConn. And I think at UConn, he trained like many different sports. Like, it wasn't just football, sports.
And that was kind of like Donnie. Yeah.
Yes.
Like Donnie.
It was like Donnie. It's a great point. You're right about that. And let's get back to Super Chat. So we got some here. Tyler's up first. Thank you, Tyler. He says, in y'all's opinion, who do you think ends up having the most success this season? Offense or defense are more balanced? I feel we can agree. Our D carried a bit more this past season. Yeah, this was a strange season because remember the D was carrying it, and then things started to flip because the secondary started giving up some chunk yards, had some injuries back there. Taft went down. Then the offense started finding their groove a little bit, right? The Arch Manning became the identity. Arch started gaining confidence. They found how to use Ryan Wingo, that he was a yak daddy. And so it's interesting how the way things played out this past season. I would say if I'm going to bet right now on what's going to be the strength of the team, what phase will be the strength, I would say offense. Me personally, I would say offense. But I hope I'm wrong. Hope it's both. Hope both of them are really good. But I don't think your defense will be weak, but you do have you're young in the secondary. You're going to be young in your secondary. I love your linebacking core. I do wonder if you're going to be able to generate, you know, another pass rusher, like create one, develop one, opposite Colin Simmons. And you may be a little undersized at linebacker, so teams may start to run downhill on you. But now you have Ian Jaffrod, who is like 370 pounds to throw in the middle there. So I do think they got more girth on the line because they want to make up for some of the lack of size that they have at linebacker. But the playmaking potential at linebacker is crazy. But I would go offense right now. What are your thoughts, Coach?
I would have to agree that the offense has more firepower at this time. But it's going to be interesting to see what Blake Gideon brings to this defense, and hopefully he'll bring the same intensity that he did, not only as a coach but as a player. Yeah, and the way that he meshes so well with our defensive coordinator, I think they'll do their part. But you know, it looks like right now, as frustrating as our offense was at times last year, I would have to say they put together a pretty good group. It looks like on paper anyway.
What are your thoughts, Marcus?
That would probably be my thought as well, man. I think it all rests on how that offensive line gels, because again, as much as we've talked about O-line, it's identifying the right guys for the right spots early, hoping that they have the ability to remain relatively healthy and that they're able to, perform well with one another, because it goes beyond just like their physical attributes. It's like, how well can they communicate with one another, right? Like that was, as we talk about Casey, like part of what made Casey so great is he played right next to his best friend, Lyle Sinline. So he had a guy that like, they almost had like a mind meld where like you could see them doing stuff and the way they passed off, rushers at times and just communicating in a very strong and efficient manner at all times. And so that allowed them to, I think, play a bit above their ability some and really lean on some of that tenacity. So if the offensive line is able to, kind of gel and coalesce like that pretty early, then to Coach's point, you have so much firepower. It's kind of hard to not see it being the offense, but I don't think it'll be wildly skewed. Like I think the defense will, certainly figure it out, but just, even with Muschamp's experience, it's a different voice, for the first time in a while, that is going to, kind of be manning the ship. And so while I think some of the things that he's going to bring to the table, as opposed to, calling the whole defense, is likely going to help the guys tremendously, it's still going to take some adjustment. Whereas for the most part, outside of, the running back coach, on the offensive side of the ball, there's a lot more consistency there from, the voices that they'll be hearing from. So,
yeah. Now, thank you for the super chat there, Tyler. We appreciate it. How about this one from Blanken? I'm sure I'm screwing that up. Blankroom. I'm sure I'm messing that up. Do y'all think we're going to see more 11/12 personnel with spread concepts in 2026, given Arch's success in 2025 in the running back and wide receiver rooms? I would hope we'd see a little bit more 21 personnel too. I don't think the pony package come back, which easily prior to last season, because last season you just didn't have the bodies to really utilize it, but it was your most explosive and your most efficient and effective personnel grouping. Like it really was. You didn't use it as much as 11 or 12, but it was. And when you had Bijan and Rojo, and you had Jay Brooks and Ced Baxter, and then you had Trey Wisner and Jaden Blue, when you got that combo, I think Raleigh Brown and Smothers can be that combo. But Texas will play 11 personnel 50% of the time, no matter what. That's what Sark does. That's 50% of the time. They're going to be 11 personnel, one back, one tight end. Usually they average around 30 to 35%, 12 personnel, one back, two tight ends. And then he throws in, sometimes some 21 personnel. At one point, he was using 6 O-line packages. But for the most part, 85% on average of his offense has been 11 and 12. But you don't have the tight ends you had recently. So I do wonder if you'll see a little bit more 11 and then mix in some more diversity. Like I said, the 21 personnel. I'd go 20 personnel with no tight end on the field. Just 3 wide receivers.
That's what I was going to say. I would like to see that, because then even, you can motion one of those backs out, right? You motion Raleigh Brown out, and now you have 4 true receiving threats and still the ability to run the ball if you wanted to with Smothers. So that's kind of where I was thinking, Rod. But to your point, even on the 12, maybe you don't have necessarily the type of tight end we've thought of, but they went and got the Michigan State guy. And I mean, his calling card is blocking, right? Like he can probably do enough in the passing game, but he's more of a blocking tight end of your true inline tight end. So that kind of signals to me that there's still, that level of commitment to 12. Maybe we can get them to drop, between the two, maybe it drops to, 70, 75%. And then you get, a little more exotic in the remainder. But I would love to see some 20, man. Like, because I won't lie, there are times, especially when you're kind of in like a hurry up or end of the half type of offense. Sometimes it feels like the tight end is a bit of a waste out there. If Arch is running to the line and kind of calling it, like you're getting the ball out pretty quick. I would love to find a way to get more of those playmakers on the field in situations like that.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. Sometimes I'm like, just put another offensive lineman out there then. If you're going to just have the tight end out there blocking 80% of the time, just put another O-lineman out there and go 6 O-line. Like they did that actually in Sark's first couple of years. Maybe you don't have the O-line depth to do it, but I want more personnel diversity, period. I'd like to see the Wildcat come back. I'd like to see 20, 21 personnel. I'd like to see the red package he had at Alabama with 4 wide receivers on the field and go 10 personnel. I think he needs more diversity in the offense. But yeah, so I think he's got the talent to do it right now too. All right. Thank you for the super chat there. Appreciate that one. Next up is Tyler again. He said, if it ain't burnt, it ain't turned, baby. Hook 'em. If it ain't burnt, it ain't turned. I like that. That's good. That's good. Thank you for that one. All right. D Stackers here says, thank you for the super chat. Says, studying for the bar exam. Rod, you'd be a good lawyer with your wordsmith and Coach Shiv. What you said about mental health hit me in my heart at the right time. God is good. Thank you, homies. Hook 'em. And good luck on the bar exam. And thank you for that. My mom said I should get in the law too, but nah, I don't have the bandwidth for it. Studying, I can't do it. No, but I appreciate the compliment. Coach, we do appreciate you sharing, though. I've had other people tell me too, watching the last show and this show, obviously, about you sharing your story and your family story and how inspirational it's been. So I do want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart. Do feel like going to church, and you go to church, you feel good afterwards because you feel spiritually uplifted. A lot of folks felt like that with your message. So thank you for that.
Well, just live it every day like Jordan does. That's what I try to do. Jordan is truly a man of few words. He doesn't like the spotlight, never has, and doesn't like all this attention being put on him now. But he walks the walk, and I'm very proud of him.
Tell him he's inspiring folks. Like
I can echo that too, real quick, because I shared more than this with Coach, but just what was so cool about playing with Ship is I don't remember how many times I actually heard him like talk. Like, he wasn't a rah guy, like not on the field anyways, right? Like you might have some conversation with him in the locker room, but he was probably talking about going to fish somewhere with Colt. Like it wasn't, but he worked, man, and the way he just has always approached life has always been really inspiring to me. So as devastated as it was to hear about what he was going through, it was also like, man, if anybody is going to kick this thing, it's going to be Jordan, right? And he's going to do it in his way, just going to go to work. So yeah, Coach, I appreciate you always sharing and certainly for sharing Ship with us.
No doubt. Amen to that, brother, for real. All right, before we get back to a couple of questions, let me give a shout out to our sponsors real quick. Let's thank our friends over at Hayes City Store. I've been out to Hayes City Store a few times, folks. It's one of my favorite places to go. Me and wifey were going out there even before we had baby girls, one of our favorite spots, favorite date night spots. And now that we have baby girl, we still hit up Hayes City Store all the time. It is fantastic, folks. It is scratch-made Texas comfort food, and they've got their famous truck stop enchiladas. The chicken fried steak is really good. I'm a big fan of the burgers, by the way. The homemade desserts, all of it delicious, all of it made from scratch. There is something soulful about Hayes City Store. You know it when you get out there. Great customer service, also live music 6 nights a week. Got 50 beers on tap, ice cold long necks. Those margaritas are off the chain. Big fan of the margaritas too. They also have a great ice house where they have 11 TVs. So game days for college football, NFL, always great out at Hayes City Store. They even have brunch served 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. every Sunday. Also dog friendly. So take the dogs out, take the kiddos out. They have this huge tree net that the kids can just run around on and be crazy. Plenty of space for the kids to run around on. So bring the whole crew and join our friends over at Hayes City Store. For more information, check out the website at HayesCityStoreTX.com. That's HayesCityStoreTX.com. Hayes City Store. It's uniquely Texas. And while we're giving some props, let's thank our friends over at SeatGeek as well. You may need tickets to a concert, a festival. Maybe you need tickets to college football games coming up in 2026. Maybe you need tickets to an NBA game. Maybe the World Cup has been on your mind. Our friends at SeatGeek, they have you covered. They have the most trusted ticketing app in the world, and they have more than 35 million downloads, the #1 rated ticketing app. So, folks, whether you, like I said, whatever you need, our friends over at SeatGeek, they've got you covered. Each ticket is rated on a scale of 1 to 10, so you know you're getting a good deal. So look for the green dots. Green means good, red means bad. Plus, every ticket is backed by their buyer guarantee. And of course, right now for OTF fans, use the code OTF10. That's OTF10 at checkout, and you'll get 10% off your next set of tickets over at SeatGeek. That's 10% off your next set of tickets at SeatGeek. Just use the code OTF10. We appreciate our friends Let's geek very much. And let's hit a couple of more super chats before we end things. Appreciate you guys, your participation and being patient with us tonight. Ed, thank you very much for the super chat. Very kind of you. Said prayers for Jordan. Glad you're back, Coach. No doubt.
Thank you.
Appreciate you. Yep. Like I say, it's been pretty powerful. Except it confirms to me how kind-hearted Longhorn Nation is. Like they come together when they need to for family because they treat it like family, and I appreciate that as a member of it, and I'm sure Coach feels the same way. So thank you guys. That's why we built OTF. I mean, honestly, that was kind of the core principle behind OTF was the family vibes and like the family connection that Longhorn fans feel that brings that connective tissue that makes Longhorn Nation special. And
well, I tell you, I said this on Coffee and Football Tuesday morning, but I made one call to a very close friend, and he's more my age, but he's very close with Jordan. And I wanted somebody to be at the hospital when Jordan got there. My second call was to Colt. My third call was to Bobby to let the OTF family know because it is a family.
Yep.
And those are the three of the most important calls I could make, was get that word out there that he's in trouble and needs your prayers.
Man. And the prayers work too, and they continue to. Thanks for that, guys. Last question here for that super chat tonight. Oregon Coast Longhorn. All right, appreciate you. Says, how do you see tight end playing out this year? Love you guys. Love you too, Oregon Coast Longhorn. Thanks for the super chat. It's interesting because I think they really like Nick Townsend.
Yeah.
And I think they're searching for the tight end that can be an asset as a blocker and an asset in the passing game. I don't think they've necessarily found that tight end yet. And not saying their tight ends have been bad blockers, but that wasn't what JT Sanders was necessarily known for. That wasn't what Gunnar Helm was known for. They were known for threatening you down the field in the passing game and being vertical threats in the passing game, athletic tight ends. And Jack Hendricks is kind of the same way. I think they're hoping Nick Townsend with his physical, this physical mentality that he has, right, as a freshman. So it's ingrained in him that he is going to be the guy that can obviously starts out as a plus blocker, and he has the freakish skills and traits. They can turn him into an asset in the passing game too. Like even Masunas. What'd you say, Marks, about Masunas? Yeah, everybody knows he can block. Anybody know if he can catch? Nah, we'll figure that out later. They've been one-dimensional tight ends. And I think Sark wants a multi-dimensional five-tool tight end. One that can be a mauler in the run game, a competent blocker in the passing game, and can also go and run the seam down here and give you yak yards and all that. I don't know if they've had that total package just yet. Still searching for it. Nick Townsend is a possibility to be that guy. He's got that kind of potential. What are you guys' thoughts about it, Coach? Tight end? How you see it playing out?
Yeah, I'm with you. I think Nick needs to come full circle, with his game this season. But it's also going to be interesting to see who else rises. The cream that's going to rise to the top in that, because there always is somebody, and it's going to be interesting to see who else that's going to be. Obviously, it's going to have to be two more people, that are going to have to contribute greatly to this offense for us to be successful. I don't know for sure who those are going to be yet. What do you think, Marcus?
Yeah, I'm kind of on the same page, right? Like I think you would love to see Nick Townsend take the step. I think what is very positive, on his end, especially from his freshman season, is usually with a freshman tight end, like you're really having to coach them on the physicality of the game. And kind of the way Sark and them talked about Townsend, it was almost like he was, the guy that, hey, he may not necessarily do the thing right every single time, but he's going to do it 100 miles an hour, and he's going to make sure that his presence is felt while he's doing it. Mm-hmm. So the hope is then now you can rely a bit more on his athletic ability as the game slows down for him a little bit, as he's getting a little more experience. It's not about just being in there and going and being a wild man, but it's, how can I be an asset in the passing game as well? And so, I think the chat is, spot on in that he does have the potential to be a special talent. But I will say this, I saw a guy say, he's a faster David Thomas. hold on now. Like David Thomas was special in his own right a little bit before his time. DT never dropped a ball, and you didn't want to have to go against him if he was blocking. And he did that from the day he stepped on campus, right? So I certainly believe in the ability. I'll just say DT showed it early and often through his entire career. Townsend certainly, you know, has the ability to do that and then some. But to start his career, his calling card was really just his physicality more than anything. So I'm with Coach. It kind of remains to be seen. You have some talent, you know, within those spaces. And then you can already sort of see who they're recruiting, Rod. Young man that's already committed, and then the other young man that they've been, you know, on pretty tough that's come to visit campus quite a bit. There are more of those longer, rangier type of tight ends that would be much more of a weapon in the passing game, kind of off rip. And they even went after a couple. I forgot the kid's name that ultimately signed with USC, but they were comparing him to like a Brock Bowers, right? So you can tell the types that he's trying to recruit, like he wants to get back to that. So it kind of remains to be seen, you know, how that room ultimately plays out.
Yeah, I mean, Texas has a good track record with tight ends right now. Jack Hedges will get drafted. And so your last 3 featured tight ends in the passing game, all drafted tight ends. That's a pretty good streak. I don't know how many schools in the country would have a streak going like that. All right. Thank you to all you guys out there for the super chats. Let's thank our friends over at Von Lane really quickly before we end things. Thank you to Von Lane. VonLane.com is where you need to go. Our friends at Von Lane, they're serving Austin, Dallas, Houston, San Antonio, Fort Worth, Plano, the Woodlands, Nashville, Memphis, Atlanta, Knoxville as well. If you're traveling with a group, you can charter your own Von Lane, designing the trip from pickup to drop off. Forget about the short trips that you're taking, flights you're taking in between major Texas cities or in the region. Forget about driving yourself. You deal with the road rage and all of the the traffic and being jet lagged when you get to a place. Our friends over at Von Lane provide first-class travel experience on the ground, and right now they're offering complimentary Wi-Fi on all of their trips. Also, snacks, beverages, and hot towel service are complimentary on every trip. They've also added complimentary meals on certain trips to make sure that your ride is even more relaxing. And they've also added the Starlink internet across the entire fleet, making your complimentary Wi-Fi even faster and more reliable. They're upgrading all across the entire fleet, and they're constantly trying to make sure the customer service for you is top notch. Check them out at vonlane.com, VONLANE.com, and use the code OTF26 at checkout to receive $20 off your first ride with Von Lane. That's Von Lane, your private jet on wheels. All right. Thank you very much to Von Lane. Thank you to SeatGeek as well. We appreciate them. And thank you to our friends at Hayes City Store for sponsoring tonight's live stream. Coach, we appreciate you as well for all your wisdom and levity. Thank you, Marcus. Great stuff. Appreciate all your
right.
Oh,
real quick, as you close us out, I just want to give the women's basketball team a quick shout out. They beat Florida on the road by 20 and have a big game against OU this weekend. I think College Game Day women's basketball version is coming to Austin for the first time ever. So should be a good showdown. If you're around and you get a chance to come check them out, I know they need everybody's support when OU rolls into town.
Nice. Good stuff, Marcus. Good message. We appreciate you. That's why you're the best, man. That's why you're loved on this channel. Thank you to Matthew behind the scenes. He is the real MVP. And for Rocky, go check him out. I will, Rocky. I'm gonna go check that. I'm gonna go check that mailbox, what I'm about to do in the dark too. Thank you, Rocky. I appreciate you. For Marcus and for Coach and for Matthew, I'm Lifetime Longhorn Rod Babers. Until next time, hook 'em horns.
Hook 'em.